Recently, Maclean's magazine referred to Glenn Pearson as the last decent man in Ottawa. The Liberal MP won his London seat in a by-election in the fall of 2006. Since then, the former firefighter, food bank director, and international aid worker has sometimes seemed like a fish out of water, looking uncomfortable in the cut and thrust of this Parliament's fierce political battles. He's written about this on his blog called The Parallel Parliament, and he's with us here in studio now. Glenn Pearson, welcome to the program.
Hi, Susan.
So how are you feeling about the atmosphere in Parliament these days?
Well, I think I've been pretty open about it. I've been quite uncomfortable at it. A lot of it is because it's not my nature to be the cut and thrust kind of way, but I think the other part of it is that I see the effect that it's had on other people who are outside the House of Commons, whether it's students or others. And they're quite troubled by what they see. And I mean, those are the people that we're supposed to be inspiring and getting to. So I think it has worried me. And I think the Maclean's piece, I didn't seek it, but it came out. And I think I've been dealing with some of the ramifications from that ever since. Some feel it's something that has to happen in the House of Commons, but many others from the outside are writing in or phoning it and saying, this is, we want people to deal with this. Things should be better in the House.
So you're getting a lot of people writing to you about these comments that you've made?
Oh, absolutely. And so they should.
How have you felt about the Bernier debate, which has raged this week? It dominated question period yesterday, led by members of your party. Were you comfortable with that line of questioning?
I wasn't. I've been honest. I've let them know that. I think it's important for people to understand, though, there's a context to it in the sense that before question period even starts, the governing party spends 2 or 3 of its statements that it makes just really hammering hard at Stéphane Dion in ways that are not fit, they're not proper, and they don't even match the character of the man. And I think that sets the tone for what goes on as soon as the cameras come on for question period. So I think that set the edge. That being said, I mean, I was in the House today with Mr. Ray. He brought up the question about it. And his question, I thought, was really well put. He just said, look, all we're trying to seek from the government is, did you do due diligence in checking into this affair to make sure that no security damage was being done? And I thought that's the right way to handle it. There's no harm in asking that question, and it was asked respectfully, and I quite appreciated that he did that.
There are people who say that minority parliament intensifies the atmosphere in general in Parliament. It is a particularly fierce battle of partisanship we're witnessing now in the House. Do you think there's any way around that? Or do you think it's just a part of life here in Ottawa and it's a fixture of national politics and we've got to work with the system that we have?
Well, I haven't been in long enough to fully know, but I can tell you from speaking to the Speaker, MPs that have been there from 20 years, even some within the Conservative Party, it has never been this bad in their recollection. And I think that's something that we have to deal with. Susan, I know how to say it. I had a couple of soldiers that have just come back from Afghanistan from my riding, and they were in the House a couple of months ago. And they were sitting up and watching question period. And when it was over, I went up to get them and bring them back to the office. And they said, is that what we're fighting for? And I think these are tough individuals, right? So it's not as though Parliament's all about people being really tough and it's a locker room and this is the way you play the game. There's a human level of conduct, I think, and civility that needs to be there, that even soldiers who are rough and tumble and understand about conflict look at it and we're ashamed by it. But I've also had to deal with school students, as with the Speaker today, speaking to students, they feel the same way.
So then why is it so hard to change? If people notice it, if politicians know that their standing in the community is going down, why isn't it changing? I mean, let me ask you this. From within your own party, as you speak out, have people been welcoming of these views, embracing you for them? I know you have, for example, declined to take part in some lines of questioning, both in the House and in committee, because you were uncomfortable. Has that caused problems for you within your own party?
To some degree, yes. People haven't been really mean about it, but there's an uncomfortableness because I think there's many people that actually don't want to be this way, but they feel they have to because that's the system that applies. I've just decided not to go that way. But I will say that there are many who have come out and given support for this and would like to see a change. But I've always said from the very beginning, I'm not much of a partisan fellow, but it starts with the Prime Minister. I really believe that. If the governing party will show civility and be like that, which happened for a certain period of time over the Afghan debate, all of a sudden the level of tone in Parliament really changed. It starts with the government, and then I think we should follow suit.
What about your own party leader? Have you spoken to him about this, and what does he say?
Oh, certainly. He knows I really struggle with this. In fact, I've even struggled with staying, and he knows that over these things. I've been pretty honest.
You've thought of quitting?
Oh, sure. This is especially back in November. I've really wrestled with it. But my point is, I back Stéphane Dion because he's a decent man. He's an honorable man. I look at those type of characteristics, and I see a bit of those in myself. I'm not as strong as he is or any of those kind of things. But I backed him as a leader specifically because I was looking for decency, honesty, integrity. I think he has those things. But if you listen to the Conservative, you think he has none of those things. And I don't like that. I don't think we should do that to them. I don't think they should do that to us. We're there, we're in respectful positions, and we should treat each other honorably.
Will you run again?
I will run again because I told them that I would. I also told my wife that I would because she really wants me to, but I am struggling, and I'm hoping that at some way and at some level, the others that feel like me in Parliament will be able to lift the refinement a bit. We are public servants, not private servants. And the saddest part is at the most public moment of the day, when the public is watching us more than any other time, we're behaving abominably, and I hope that'll change.
Now, you have lived a lot of your life being an advocate. Do you see yourself now as an advocate for this issue in the House? Is that how you see your role here?
No, I do not. I don't see that. I'm one of the newest members of Parliament, so I'm just trying to live my life being the way that I am. The fact that it's a little bit different has drawn some attention and some media attention, so that's part of the reason why I'm here. But I'm not standing up in caucus and saying, everybody, you need to start doing better. My job is to live as I see the standard should be. But what I'm beginning to discern is that other parliamentarians from all parties, including the governing party and the public, and even some in the media have begun to say, let's claw through this a little bit. Let's get back to a little bit of a level of civility because it is about the people we're supposed to be representing.
Well, we can't solve all the problems today, but it was interesting to hear your thoughts. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Susan.
There's lots more to come on politics, but don't forget you can take the broadcast with you wherever you go with our full-length audio podcast.